to talk about identifying the topic and main idea. You might ask yourself, why do I need to know how to identify the topic and main idea of a story? Well, the topic helps you to understand what your reading is about, and the main idea helps you to understand what the author wants you to know about the reading. So, bottom line, it's important for you to know topic and main idea because it helps you better understand what you are reading. So, we have tips on how to find topic and tips on how to find the main idea. When trying to find the topic, it's important to consider the topic will be 1 or 2 words, and it's the most simple form of understanding what the reading is about. Usually it's what or who is the text all about, and it's usually repeated throughout the text. So examples of topics could be bikes, computers, my sister, plants, circus tricks, and we will practice finding topic in this lesson. How to find main idea. So main idea takes a little bit more work. Before you read, you want to read the title. You want to know what the text is about and what is the topic. So you definitely need to find the topic first so that you could then find the main idea. While you are reading, you're going to look for and carefully read text features. You're going to ask yourself, is this text fiction or nonfiction? You're going to look for information, words, and pictures that are repeated. And after you read, you're going to think about the most important point about the topic and what details or examples back up and support the main idea. And remember, the main idea is what the reader wants you to understand about the topic. So let's look at a paragraph together, and we're going to work on identifying the topic and main idea. You can do it. So let's start reading. Rabbits and hares are not the same. Rabbits live together in burrows. Their babies are born blind and without fur. Hares live alone above ground. Their babies are born with fur and are not blind. In addition, hares are usually bigger than rabbits. What is the main idea of this paragraph? Well, before we can answer that question, we need to figure out what is the topic. So what words do we see being repeated? Rabbits, I could see it 1, 2, 3 times. Hares, I see 1, 2, again 3. So rabbits and hares, I would consider the topic. That's what this reading is talking about in the simplest form. But now we want to figure out, what is the main idea? What does the author want us to know as readers about this story? So we have 3 options for main idea. Hares are bigger than rabbits, hares and rabbits are not the same, or rabbits live together in burrows. I'm going to give you a second to think about what is the main idea. So if you said hares and rabbits are not the same, you're absolutely correct. And we actually get a clue when we read the topic sentence. Rabbits and hares are not the same. And the entire rest of the paragraph is about that. So that is the main idea. And the topic in its simplest form is about rabbits and hares. Let's try another one. We got this. The ice cream cone was invented in 1904. It all started at the St. Louis World's Fair when an ice cream vendor ran out of dishes for his ice cream. A man named Ernest Hamwee was selling waffles in the booth next door. He helped his neighbor out by making cone-shaped waffles to hold the ice cream. The rest, as they say, is history. What is the main idea of the paragraph? So it's about the ice cream cone in its simplest form. And we have cone once. We have a cone-shaped waffle again. And we know that this is all about how the ice cream cone was invented. So our topic is the ice cream cone. Now, what was the main idea? We have 3 choices. The ice cream cone was invented in 1904. B, they ran out of ice cream at the World's Fair. Or C, ice cream is a yummy treat. And if you said A, the ice cream cone was invented in 1904, you are correct. And we need to find details in the story that help us to support this. So the very first sentence in the paragraph is the ice cream cone was invented in 1904. And then it tells the story about how that happened. So A is the correct answer. B, they ran out of ice cream. They never said that they ran out of ice cream at the World's Fair. They ran out of dishes for the ice cream. And C, ice cream is a yummy treat. That's true, but that is not what is being discussed in this reading. So C is definitely not correct. 3. Some types of roller coasters use magnets to make them stop. Strong magnets are put into both the coaster and the end of the track. As the coaster approaches the end of the track, the attracting forces of the magnet bring it to a gentle stop. What is the main idea of this paragraph? In its simplest form, it's definitely talking about magnets and roller coasters, and we see the word magnets repeated multiple times and roller coaster or coaster is repeated. So definitely the topic in its simplest form is about roller coasters and magnets, but what about the main idea? Let's look at our 3 answer choices. Roller coasters stop at the end of the track. B, some kinds of roller coasters use magnets to make them stop. Or C, roller coasters are fun. And remember, when we identify the main idea, we want to be able to support it with evidence from the text. So let's make sure that we have evidence to support what we think is the correct answer. I'm going to give you a second to think about it before we give you the answer. We know you can do this. Do it, do it, do it, do it. So, let's go back. If you said B, some kinds of roller coasters use magnets to make them stop, that is correct. So roller coasters stop at the end of the track. Yeah, there is an end of the track, but that's not what the author really wants you to take away from this story. And C, roller coasters are fun. That's true, but it is never mentioned in the text anywhere. So B, some kinds of roller coasters use magnets to make them stop. That is here in the topic sentence. Some types of roller coasters use magnets to make them stop, and that's true because the entire rest of the reading is about types of roller coasters that use magnets to make them stop. So B is your correct answer. Reading 4. Julia Butterfly Hill lived in a giant redwood tree for 2 years to keep it from being cut down. She climbed the tree, which was located in Northern California, on December 10th, 1997. Many people helped her by bringing her food and supplies. She did not come down until the logging company promised never to cut the tree down. What is the main idea? Well, before we do that, let's make sure we understand the topic. The topic of this reading is about Julia Butterfly Hill in its simplest form. So that is the person we are discussing in this reading. Now, what does the author want us to know about this person? Let's look at our answer choices. A, Julia Butterfly lived in a giant redwood tree for 2 years to keep it from being cut down. B, the logging company did not cut down the tree. Or C, the tree was located in Northern California. So I'm going to pause and let you think about your answer. You got this. The correct answer is A. Julia Butterfly lived in a giant redwood tree for 2 years to keep it from being cut down. This is the best main idea because they talk about it in the topic sentence, and the entire rest of the paragraph is about that. B, yes, the logging company did not cut down the tree, but is that the entire point of this reading? No. It was really about the person who stopped the tree from being cut down. And C, the tree was located in Northern California. Yes, it's in Northern California, but that's such a small, really specific detail. That's not the main idea of the entire reading. So you want to be careful when you're looking for main idea and they give super specific facts because yes, that's in the reading, but that does not cover the entire main idea. Overall, what does the author want you to take away from this reading? Let's look at number 5. School children in Washington state are raising salmon. The Department of Fish and Wildlife gives each participating classroom 500 salmon eggs. When the eggs hatch, the children care for their baby salmon and learn about their life cycle. When the salmon are big enough, the class goes on a field trip to release the salmon into a stream or river. What is the main idea? Well, first off, let's look at the topic. The topic is definitely school children and salmon, or school children raising salmon. That is the simplest form of what this is about. Now let's look at main idea. We have three options. So A, each class gets 500 salmon eggs. B, school children in Washington state are raising salmon. Or C, the salmon are released into streams and rivers. Well, if our topic is about school children and salmon, we need to make sure that we have an answer choice that talks about both. So think about that before you make your choice. I'm going to give you a second to think about what you think the main idea is of this paragraph. And if you chose B, you are correct. School children in Washington state are raising salmon. That is what this entire paragraph is really about. And you can find the answer in the topic sentence. And you can see that the rest of the reading is also about the same thing, the same subject. Let's try 6. Giant pandas are losing their habitats. Giant pandas live in bamboo forests in China. The average giant panda eats about 30 pounds of bamboo each day. Unfortunately, the forests are being cut down and the giant panda is endangered. What is the main idea of this paragraph? So before we do that, we need to talk about what is the topic. And the topic is pretty clear. It's about giant pandas. And that is repeated multiple times in this reading. So giant pandas, giant pandas, giant pandas, panda, giant panda. Let's look at our answer choices for main idea. A, giant pandas eat a lot of bamboo. B, giant pandas live in China. C, giant pandas are losing their habitats. And we know you can do this. You've been doing a really good job. So we're at number 6 and we only have 10 more, or we only have 4 more because we have 10 practices. So you are almost done. So I'm going to give you a second to think about what your answer is. If you selected C, giant pandas are losing their habitats, you are correct. So giant pandas are losing their habitats. That's definitely in the very first sentence. And the rest of the paragraph is about the fact that they are losing their habitats. 7. Incense cedar wood is perfect for pencils. Unlike many other kinds of wood, it does not break easily, but is soft enough to be sharpened without splintering. It also won't bend or warp in hot temperatures. Incense cedar trees are grown in California and Oregon. What is the main idea of this paragraph? The topic is definitely about incense cedar wood pencils in its simplest form. But what's the main idea? And we know that you can't stop, you won't stop. So think about, is it A, incense cedar wood is perfect for making pencils? B, incense cedar trees are grown in California and Oregon? Or C, incense cedar wood will not splinter when sharpened? I'm going to give you time to think and then we're going to show you the answer. If you chose A, incense cedar wood is perfect for making pencils, you are correct. So this is definitely the right answer. You can see in the topic sentence it's about incense cedar wood is perfect for pencils, and then it goes into the reasons why it is really great for pencils. You would not want to choose B because yes, we know that these trees are grown in California and Oregon, but that's not what the entire paragraph is about. It's a very specific detail that doesn't represent the entire reading. And C, the same thing, a very specific fact. Incense cedar wood will not splinter when sharpened. That's true. But again, it's a fact, a really specific one, and it does not represent what the entire reading is about. 8. You can tell if an egg is hard-boiled by spinning it. Lay an egg on its side and try to make it spin. If it is not hard-boiled, the shifting liquid inside will make it spin poorly. If it is a hard-boiled, If it is hard-boiled, the solid insides will make it spin faster and longer. What is the main idea of this paragraph? So, what would you say the topic is, and what would you say the main idea is? I will read you the main idea answers, and then this time I'm going to let you come up with the topic and main idea. A, the shifting liquid inside makes it hard to spin. B, a hard-boiled egg will spin faster and longer. Or C, you can tell if an egg is hard-boiled by spinning it. So, the topic is hard-boiled eggs in its simplest form. And if you chose C, you can tell if an egg is hard-boiled by spinning it. That is the main idea. You are correct. A, the shifting liquid inside makes it hard to spin. That is not what the entire reading is about. Again, that's a specific fact. And a hard-boiled egg will spin faster and longer. That's true. But that's not what the entire reading is about. They want to talk about the entire reading. What the author wants you to know is how to tell if an egg is hard boiled. You do it by spinning it. 9. Again, we're going to persevere. We're almost there. You have this one and number 10, and then you are done. So I'm going to let you do this by yourself. I'm going to read it, read you the answer choices, and you're going to think, what is the topic and what is the correct answer? Did you know that the idea for Velcro came from nature? One day in Switzerland, a man named George de Mestral decided to take his dog for a walk. When he got back to his house, he saw that there were many small burrs clinging to his dog's fur. He examined how the burrs were sticking under a microscope and ended up using what he saw to invent Velcro. What is the main idea of this paragraph? And if you're wondering, what's a burr is like a picker. You probably have stepped on one if you were playing in the grass, and they stick to your clothes. You could also Google burr just so you know what it is. Let's look at the main idea choices. The idea for Velcro came from nature. That's A. B. Burrs were clinging to the dog's fur. Or C. George de Mestral invented Velcro. So think about what's the topic and what's the main idea for this reading. I'll give you a second. If you chose Velcro as the topic, you are absolutely correct. This is what this reading is about in its simplest form. And what is the main idea of this paragraph? If you selected A, you were absolutely right. The idea for Velcro came from nature. B, burrs were clinging to the dog's fur. That is true. That's a fact from the story, but it's not the main idea, and that's not what the author really wants you to walk away with knowing. And C, George de Mestral invented Velcro. That is true. They talk about that, but look at the topic sentence. Did you know that the idea for Velcro came from nature? They're already hinting at what the main idea is. The main idea is the fact that Velcro came from nature. Yes, there was a guy named George who invented it, but that's not the main point of this reading. Last one, make me proud. Let's read the story. The Atacama Desert is the driest place on Earth. It is located on a plateau in northern Chile. It almost never rains in the Atacama Desert. In fact, there are some areas of the desert where rainfall has never been recorded. The average yearly rainfall in the Atacama is just 1 millimeter. What is the main idea of this paragraph? So think about the topic and think about the main idea. A, the Atacama Desert is in northern Chile. B, the Atacama Desert is the driest place on Earth. Or C, rainfall has never been recorded in some parts of the Atacama Desert. If you chose that the topic is the Atacama Desert, you are correct. And if you selected answer choice B, the Atacama Desert is the driest place on Earth, you were also correct with identifying the main idea. So, yes, the Atacama Desert is in northern Chile, but that's not the whole point of the reading. That's a very specific detail. C, rainfall has never been recorded in some parts of the Atacama Desert. That's true. Again, that's another specific detail from the reading, but that's not overall what the entire reading is about. Remember, you don't want to get distracted by small specific facts that don't truly represent the entire reading. B represent the entire reading. The Atacama Desert is the driest place on earth, and the rest of the paragraph is all about how it's dry. It's explaining. I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you have a better understanding of how to identify the topic and main idea of a story. Great job. And if you did all 10 and you got them right, now you know how to identify a topic and main idea. Congratulations. And if you missed a few, remember that you can watch this video again and keep practicing because you'll get better with time.